First of all, iPhone Air. Ignore. Alright guys, let's get straight into it. Okay, you've got 4 new iPhones again. You've got the brand new iPhone Air, the much improved iPhone 17 and the iPhone 17 Pro series. No iPhone 17 Plus this time. Except for the base, the other phones are exceptionally priced high, and at the same time, Flipkart is getting very generous with prices on older iPhones. Basically, a very exciting time for anyone who's about to buy a new iPhone. So gear up, because I'm going to talk about each of these new iPhones, which one you should buy, and whether you should be looking at the iPhone 16 instead. Let's go. First of all, iPhone Air. Ignore. 4 big reasons. It's for 1,20,000 rupees. And for that price, you get 148 megapixel fusion camera, no ultrawide, no telephoto. You get a slower 20-watt charging, while the Pro and the cheaper iPhone 17 base offer 40 watts. It has the smallest battery of the entire lineup, only one speaker. Guys, we know iPhone speakers sound great, but this wouldn't, not with one speaker. And despite having an A19 Pro chip, it does not support any of the high-end video recording stuff. Dude, why even put the A19 Pro chip in it? It's for 1,20,000 rupees. This is the kind of crap that only Apple can pull. Look, it's great that they could manage to fit everything in that camera plateau. I think it's incredible engineering. But overall, it's a useless phone at an atrociously high price. Ignore. Now, moving on to the iPhone 17 base, and this is probably the best of the lot because it's a lot like the 17 Pro, but for a lot less money. Hear this out. For the first time, the base iPhone 17 has Pro Motion display, exactly the same as the iPhone 17 Pro. 6.3-inch screen, 120Hz, and 3000 nits of peak brightness. Basically, this in itself is a big reason now. Next, the Pro and the base both will have the same Ceramic Shield 2 display protection, the same anti-reflective coating, and outer body made of aluminum. Look, the iPhone 15 Pro and the 16 Pro were made of titanium, which was lighter and stronger, but now that difference isn't there anymore. Next, the cameras. So the main, the ultra-wide, and the selfie camera on the 17 base is the same as that on the Pro. Seriously. And in terms of pricing, especially for India, the 17 base can be purchased at nearly the same price as that in the US. But if you look at the 17 Pro, the price difference between US and India is massive. So if you think about it, the 17 base is 50,000 rupees cheaper than the 17 Pro, but similar to it in so many ways. And although I think it is still expensive, but it is the most value for money iPhone that Apple has ever made. The only major difference that you'll feel is that the Pro has a telephoto lens, which is missing on the base. Now, obviously, the 17 Pro does have extra features, but honestly, I don't think those extra features matter to you and me on an everyday basis. So let's talk about the Pro and those extra things. So the 17 Pro and Pro Max, for the first time, I think these are designed and spec'd out for real Pro use. I think Apple just tries to be unnecessarily too smart. When they introduced titanium for the 15 Pro, they said,
and we are thrilled to introduce our astonishing new titanium design. This is the most premium material we've ever used. The titanium is incredibly strong and durable.
And now they're like, oops, titanium is strong and all, but not great for heat.
So we started again from solid aluminium.
But anyway, let me tell you what's actually new in the Pro or the Pro Max. Aesthetically, you get a bigger camera housing, so no one can confuse it for a 15 Pro or a 14 Pro or a 16 Pro. A more powerful A19 Pro chip, but don't get too excited because I do have some thoughts on that. We'll talk about it, hang tight. Same display as last time, but it's 3x more scratch resistant and you get an anti-reflective coating. Look, Samsung did it first. Apple's just catching up. The back too has 4 times more crack resistance, which means you'll see fewer iPhones with cracked or broken backs. You get an upgraded 18 megapixel front-facing camera that's the same as on the iPhone 17 base. You get more battery capacity with faster charging, though I really suspect that is actually going to give you a better battery performance on a daily basis. The cameras, so all lenses now are 48 megapixel fusion cameras, including that 4x telephoto lens. And if you remember correctly, it was 5x earlier, it's dropped to 4x now. But you do have an option of an optical quality 8x zoom now. And you can go, digitally zoom in up to 40x, which I think earlier was up to 25x. So all in all, you've got more zoom range now. And one thing that I think is hugely underrated is that in the Pro series, Apple has integrated the antenna around the camera housing, which means, in theory, that phone should get better cell phone reception and more powerful Wi-Fi signal strength. Now, honestly, except for that anti-reflective coating, the 17 Pro is not going to feel hugely different from the 16 Pro in terms of everyday use. I mean, you're not going to do anything that's going to let you feel that A19 Pro chip power. You're definitely not going to be able to realize the increase in battery capacity. And how often are you going to anyway zoom past 25x? In fact, the 17 Pro series is going to feel heavier. It's going to feel more expensive for sure. And it's going to run hotter. Yep, hotter, which is why Apple had to switch to aluminum and add a thermal interface to keep it cool. Honestly, I think they just created a problem, then they tried to solve it, and they're calling it the 17 Pro. I think it's still gonna run hotter, but sure, let's wait for the 17 Pro to come out. Now that brings us to the question, why the A19 Pro chip? Well, it's so that you can play visually demanding games that you've never heard of, or use the iPhones to shoot videos in ways you probably never would, like ProRes RAW capture or Genlock that enables video synchronization if you ever plan to shoot with multiple iPhone Pro phones. So you see, all of this stuff that the A19 Pro actually unlocks is for real pro use. For you and me, the A19 chip on the iPhone 17 base is enough. And that brings us to the question, which iPhone to buy? See, the iPhone Air? No. Between the iPhone 17 and 17 Pro, go for the iPhone 17, especially if you're in India, because that 50,000 rupee price gap is just too much for an inconsequential upgrade in the 17 Pro. Unless, of course, you want the dark orange or the blue color that's there, then I can't help you. Now, between the iPhone 17 and the 16 Pro, now this is interesting because Flipkart during its BBD is marketing that it's going to sell the iPhone 16 Pro 128GB at 70,000. First of all, don't get 128GB, okay? 256. Secondly, you may not even get the lowest price of 70,000. But if you can get the 16 Pro 256 gigs on sale for anywhere under 1 lakh, I think it's a better deal than the iPhone 17, if you can stretch it out. Now, what about those guys who wanted the iPhone 17 but in the larger screen size, which is the iPhone 17 Plus, which is not coming? Well, tough luck, but I think your best option is going to be the 16 Pro Max during the sale. If you can get that for a low price, that would be the closest that you can get. Now, what about the iPhone 16 or the iPhone 15 series? Look, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, I think, are still very good buy. But try not to get the iPhone 16 or the iPhone 15 or the 14. I mean, it's 2025, and if your budget allows, try to get the smoother 120Hz refresh rate display, please. But yeah, that's it, guys. I hope I really summarized the whole iPhone 17 launch nicely for you guys and help you decide which iPhone 17 to go with. Please share it with others who might find it useful as well. Now, I will be reviewing the iPhone 17 Pro when I get it. It's going to be on the 19th, so I want to push that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon, and mark all. Really helps the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next one.